Good morning, traders. What's going on? It is Thursday, August 24th, little past 8:45 in the morning. All right. So as always, let's go ahead and take a look into some possible continuation plays, and then we'll go ahead and hop on, and then we'll go from there and take a look at some pre-market plays. So once again, thanks for everyone joining in today. So yesterday was another great day of trading. We mentioned to just keep a watch on RTMB. RTMB ended up performing very well. And then I also shouted out, and we were looking at ZN for possible continuation or to go long over, I think it was $3.40. That worked out very well. I thought about mentioning DXTR yesterday's live stream, but for whatever reason, I just didn't feel it, didn't mention it, but it ended up performing very well. So anyways, no further ado, let's hop into it. So there's a 3 that I have on continuation today. To be honest, I don't really like any of them that much. For me, there wasn't a lot of great continuation plays that it seemed that I was able to find that meets my specific criteria when it comes to trading. You guys know, as well as me, there's a style that I go based off on every single day, and that's how I find my plays. And to be quite honest, nothing looked super appealing to me today. But, of course, I'm still going to bring what I think has the most potential. As always, of course, I'm not always 100% right, but who can be always 100% right? If you know anybody who can be 100% right all the time, let me get their phone number. So let's go into it. The first couple I have here are SQNS, BSTG, and VERI. I'm just going to go down the list. So give me a second here. We'll hop on to sharing my screen, and then we'll go over everything here. 1 second. All right, sweet. So looks like everyone can hear me. Good morning to Bradley. Good morning to Russell. Good morning to every single one of you guys joining in. Happy to have you here. All right. So going over the first one is SQNS. And so for those of you watching right now, I'm sorry if it seems a little bit blurry or the screens on my charts are a little small. This is typically how I have my screen set up for when I'm trading, and this is the way that I like to see it. It allows me to see the most potential and, get a good idea of which direction a stock could be going. It would be much easier for you guys to see if I was just doing it on one chart, but then I simply can't analyze a stock the way I'd like to. So if you're watching on your phones or you're watching it on your computer, if you turn it to 720p or something like that, if you turn up the quality on the video, it should make it a little bit more clear for you. I come to find that a lot of times my phone or even my computer will sometimes start my videos out on 420. And if you increase the quality to 720, it becomes much more clear to watch. So if you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that. All right, so first one on watch was SQNS. Now, looking at kind of some information on it, it has a 63 million share float. Its average volume is usually only about 500,000. And right now it's trading at about 2.5 million. So altogether, this stock is kind of a slow mover. It's not one of those stocks that moves very, very quick because it has such a high float, and it only on average trades at about 500,000 shares of volume. So this particular stock we're looking at, SQNS, is a little bit of a low, not a quick runner. It's kind of a slow runner, but I thought that it's still worth mentioning considering it went from about $2.75 all the way to $3.06 yesterday. So it made a really big move, and this whole move that it made, and I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys, this whole move that it made yesterday, it continuously grinded higher without really ever selling off towards the end of the day, and that's what I look for in continuation plays. Okay, so this one's a little bit of a slow mover. There's not as much volume. So for me, I wouldn't like to play this on a 1-minute chart. I would probably play this on a 5-minute chart because as you can see, right, if you're just looking at this chart, it looks a little bit choppy and a little hard on the eyes for 1 minute. So me personally, I would rather play this on a 5-minute chart where the candles are much fuller. And it gives you a little bit better idea of where the stock may be going versus trying to play it on a 1-minute chart, okay? So a little bit more background on it. SQNS, here's a 1-year chart down here. As you can see, whoa, that's too much zoomed in. Let me zoom out, go back in here. So SQNS, it had a huge day. Oh man, I need to get that out of the way. There it goes. So it had a huge day yesterday, right? And it broke through all of its moving averages, and it closed that whole day pretty high up. There wasn't really any sell-off at the end of the day. So for me, a nice continuation will be a break above its high of day, which is going to be about 350. But right now, it's after hours trading went up to 360. So I would look to go long over 360. And then be careful because you're probably going to see some resistance near the 380 range, just because that's where it has previously seen its price hit multiple times. So right around here, you'll probably get a little bit of resistance if we were to play this. So after 360, we have the potential of about a 20-cent run before we see some before we see a lot of resistance maybe come into play. So that is definitely something to note on SQNS. So simply for me, SQNS is just a potential runner. And I will definitely have time to go over a few stocks here. So I'm going to kind of pick this up, okay? So SQNS, potential runner, going to be a slow mover. So for those of you that don't like trading as high volatile stocks and don't like to get in on a super quick moving stocks, this may be a better option for you because it's a little bit slower when it comes to how it reacts to price movement. Okay, so that was the first one. Next one is BSTG. So again, SQNS, potential runner over 360. My first target would be about 480. And then from there, you can continue to watch it. If it breaks through 480, my next target would be the $4 mark, and then the $4 of mental resistance. BSTG was the next one. Okay, so the reason I picked BSTG, simply because it was a lower price stock, little penny stock. It made a pretty big move yesterday. I wish it were trading on a little bit higher, or it did trade on pretty high volume throughout the whole day. Now, the only reason I picked it is just because it simply went up and it closed towards the end of the day. And this was the kind of the move that I've seen with DXTR just the other day, and I didn't mention it, and it ended up killing it yesterday. So I thought that I would just go ahead and mention BSTG because it did make a move end of the day, and then it closed right at that high level. And now we're seeing it in here. It's gapped up, and now it's kind of consolidating sideways. So I would have liked to see that its pre-market action continued to hold the high level of about 38 cents. But right now it's not really doing that. It kind of gapped down, and now we're sitting at about 36 cents. So I would still keep BSTG on watch to maybe go long over the break of 38 cents. But then again, you're going to have to be careful because if we break 38 cents, all of our resistance points are right in the 41s, 42s, 43s. So there's a good chance that this price on the stock BSTG can get rejected if it hits 39 cents, 40 cents, and 43 cents, because that is where all the moving averages are on the 1-year chart. Okay, and then the last one I had just picked up real quick for continuation. And oh, almost forgot. BSTG has a 38 million share float, short float interest of 8%. The volume it usually trades at is 1 million. And right now it's trading at about 4.8 million. So volume is picked up. More people are trading it. So just something to take note of and put it on the watch today, okay? And also, we're going to look at VERI very quickly, and then I want to hop into answering some of your guys' questions for any stocks you might be watching and so on. Okay, so the reason I picked VERI, again, let me mention, this one has an 11 million share float. The short float interest was about 3%. It usually trades on average about 107,000 shares of volume. And right now it's trading at about 500,000 shares of volume for just one day. So let me put this out there. VERI is not anything that I myself would personally trade, okay? This is nothing that I would personally trade because it doesn't really meet my criteria. I do like it, but it doesn't meet my criteria. I want to see something trading higher than 500,000 shares of volume. So this will be a stock for any of you guys that like to trade stocks that don't move as quickly and are a little bit less risky because it trades on less volume, okay? Again, the reason I picked this real quick is because VERI on a 1-year day chart closed yesterday with no upper wick, so it completely closed it. So Lynn, I definitely want to take a look at pretty much all those stocks you put in there. I have taken a look at some of them. So VERI, same as always, I would look to play a continuation play for a break above 370. So for me, I would like to go long over this point, 370. First target would be 30 cents, 30-cent profit at $14. So right here would be my next target, right at 14. Okay, so the only reason I picked VERI is because it closed very well yesterday, held its high price point, so we could look to go long over 370. And then this would be usually just a little bit of a slow runner for some of you guys, okay? Now I want to go ahead and I want to take a look at some of the stocks you guys are looking at. So looks like one for sure we'll take a look at LOV. So we'll just start going down the list. Oh, IMNP. Yeah, IMNP killed it yesterday. That's for sure. So I did look at that would be a good one to take a look at first is IMNP. Okay, so as you can see, I already had some things drawn from yesterday on IMNP. I'll go ahead and take some of this stuff off. Drawing tools. Oop. So IMNP did have a really good day yesterday where it absolutely crushed it. There was so many setups to play in IMNP. It was kind of outrageous. I mean, you could have played this right here. I mean, then you could have played this breakout right here. I mean, there was multiple plays that you could have taken to make some money on this all day long. And then there was this high resistance point you could have ended up playing. So there was a lot of stuff you could have ended up playing on IMNP, but that's beside the point. So today, as you can see, if we point this one out, right now, pre-market, it's catching support right at about $2. If you notice yesterday's trading, the stock dipped right here, and it dipped right here, and it dipped right here, which was all right at about the $2 mark. And if you notice, that's exactly where the stock is resting at right now and finding some support. So that makes sense, okay? Now, if there's enough traders wanting to trade this today, we could see a little bit of a morning spike. But I would be very cautious because if this breaks below $2, we can definitely see a sell-off, and then it might be a good short. And then my first target, if I'm going to short this, would be right at the let me change this over. So if I were to go, I could actually potentially short this stock below $2, and then I would look for a move to 175, which would have been this drop right here. So you could see a morning spike if we have the volume. If not, actually might be interested in shorting this stock below $2 and look for a move to 175 if my broker has shares to short available. So again, I don't see it having as much potential to the upside as I do the downside, okay? So we might get a quick morning spike, and if we do, you could definitely see some resistance probably hit right at about the 250 area. We'd probably see some resistance right here in the 250 range. But in order for the stock to continue going higher, we would have to break 264 to see a nice run today, all right? So possible for a quick morning spike. We need the volume, maybe a potential short below $2, all right? So that kind of covers IMNP. Now, there was a gentleman that shouted out a few stocks up here. So LOV. So look at this, all right? So LOV had a really quick morning spike yesterday, but then if you look, LOV ended up just completely dropping down, okay? You see that? It just went down, okay? So as of right now, LOV was unable to hold a higher price level. So what that tells us is yesterday, the market rejected the price of 148, 140, 145, and it brought it all the way down to $1.22. So what that's telling us is that the market on the stock was not strong enough to continually keep the price going up, and now it is sold down. And this is, to me, of no interest because right now it just told us yesterday the stock tried to go high, and then it just got shot right down. So it to me doesn't look like it has as much potential. So it's all good. But LOV, I wouldn't keep it on my watch today, but that's just personally me. KTOV, MOSY. So I'm just gonna go down the list here. I'll take Gary's ITEK. I'll take a quick look here. And I hope when I'm going over these stocks that it makes sense for you guys. If one of you guys could just shout out in the comment section, when I'm going over these, am I being clear enough and does it make sense as far as my thought process on some of these stocks for you guys? Okay, so Gary, where'd your comment go? So Gary, ITEK. So yeah, it's showing some upward signs of momentum from yesterday. It definitely did. What kind of move did it make is the question I want. It made a move. It made about a 13% move altogether yesterday, which is pretty good. All right, sweet. I'm glad to hear it. It's making sense. That's what I want to know, because I want to know if I'm putting in simple enough terms for you guys to really grasp what I'm doing. All right, so ITEK. Again, this was a stock that made a nice move yesterday. It really did, okay? But if you look in this area, let's just take this area for example. Do you see all these candlesticks? I mean, they're just back and forth, 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 back and forth. There's no real chart. There's no story behind that chart. It's really, really hard to determine pullbacks, in any sort of price movement when it's just going back and forth, back and forth. And the reason that happens is because there's very, very light volume on these type of stocks. When you see charts and they look like this, it's very, very low volume and they don't move drastically or very quickly. So it's not my go-to thing. But in the grand scheme of things, yes, ITEK is on a clear uptrend, okay? So if ITEK, for me, were to break this trend going into the day, so if ITEK cannot ride this trend line up and it breaks through, I would technically consider closing my position. That's how I would trade this. That's personally what I would do. So then again, ITEK trading on very light volume. So for me, not my go-to thing, all right? But of course, whatever, works well for you, that's what you need to kind of start doing and grasping. Now, real quickly, I do want to hop into my pre-market scan to see if anything has changed recently. All right. This can't be serious right now. Wow. So based on what I'm seeing here, my pre-market scan is not picking up anything great. I'm actually going to fiddle with this for a second, see if I can pick up something different. Okay, so there we go. I just found something that might be of interest is LTRX. And I will take a look at MOSY. LTRX. Okay, so LTRX, yeah, it's going up, but it looks like it's trading on very light volume. Yeah, so LTRX is gapping up, but it's trading on very, very light volume. Is there any news to back the move? Not really. Okay, so LTRX, this is one where it's gapped up and it's actually holding that high price pretty nicely. It honestly, it's not too bad. If I would trade this, I would just play. If I were to trade this, I would play a break above 260. But again, yeah, I would play a break 260. And then we have 260 right here. Next sign of resistance is going to be about 280. So play break 260, next resistance about 280, so a 20-cent potential profit before we hit any real resistance. And now I'll take a look at MOSY. MOSY. Oh. All right. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on this a long time ago. So MOSY. All right. Is there any news to back the gap? No recent news. It's really backing that move up. It's moving up on high volume right now, but it can't. So again, look at, so you have MOSY, it gapped up, right? But it's not holding the high price level. It's not kind of trading sideways, and it's kind of selling off. Okay, and it's breaking through its moving averages, no problem. So it's not even treating the support very nicely, and that's probably because it's not trading on high enough volume, and there's really no news to maybe back the move. So for me personally, but it's interesting, it's very interesting that this candle right here at 82,000 shares of volume traded right before the close of the day. That's interesting. Okay, so for me, honestly, MOSY, I wouldn't personally trade it. It's kind of, it doesn't look like it's forming any kind of nice pattern pre-market, so it's hard for me to want to trade something like that. But of course, you can keep it on watch. The way that I would personally trade it is I would play the break above 116, which is the pre-market high, to go long. 116, let's see where we're at, 116. So if you break, okay, that makes sense. If you're looking at MOSY, and you look at a 1-year day chart, you'll come to find that the 50-day moving average is right at 116, and that's exactly where the stock stopped at pre-market. The pre-market high of MOSY was 116, and its 50-day moving averages was right at about 116 on a 1-year day chart. All right, let me check my scan real quick, see if something has changed. That was MOSY, TTNP, BSTG. Okay, so BSTG was on my watch. It's still going up. Secondly, I'm going to jump in here, guys. Obviously, everybody still keep an eye on RTNB. Why are we keeping an eye on RTNB? Just because we know the kind of move that it had made these past couple days. And so it's like the stock that keeps on giving. So honestly, just keep an eye on that one. That's something I would do, is just keep an eye on RTNB. I'm going to go ahead and take a look back at BSTG. Okay, so again, BSTG kind of sold down, but right now it's just consolidating sideways. So I'm still going to keep it on watch. And for me, I would still have to play a break above 38 cents, but I'm not too faithful on these. I'm not the most faithful on BSTG right now. Looks like AKG was another hot one. Again, AKG is the type of one that's trading on very low volume, where we're getting this very, very choppy back and forth price action. So for me, I'm not too interested in it. And if you look at a 1-year day chart, you'll notice that AKG has never had a spike day. It's never been a big spiker. So that tells me that it's going to be very challenging to see any big volume jump to make a quick spike on this. CYTR. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so CYTR, we're all familiar with the $1 failing stock. CYTR is at 61.5. Okay, so CYTR could actually be a pretty decent play today. And the reason I say that is because CYTR, it's just about to break through. It's, what is that? Just about to break through its 50 and its 20-day moving average. Yeah, it's about to break through its 50 and its 20-day moving average on its 1-year chart, which means that it has all the way up to about 67 cents before it hits the 200 moving average and we see major resistance. So CYTR, break, I would play break above pre-market high. So CYTR, again, I'm going to look for a break above pre-market high to go long. My first target price would be right here, which is 68 cents. That would be the 200 exponential moving average, okay? RTMB, let's see. I haven't even looked at it today, I don't think. Okay, so RTMB is very, very dead pre-market, but what does that matter? Remember, it was dead pre-market yesterday and just killed it. So again, keep RTMB on watch. Has news that it might get delisted. Careful. So IMUC. So there's just a lot of stocks to look at, of course. So if you guys want my honest opinion about today, so far nothing has looked extremely extraordinary. You know what? CLNE was mentioned a while back. I do got to take a look at that. And I'm sorry if I don't get to looking at everybody's stock. Of course, there's tons of them, and it's hard to just kind of take them all in, so I apologize. So for the gentleman who just looks like Shannon Monroe, CLNE, if you look at it, it's very choppy. There's really no clear price direction. This is not something that I would personally trade. There's not enough volume to give us the big move that we need to make any money. RADA. Oop, nope, not that. That was definitely wrong. All right. So RADA, okay, so this is kind of nice. I do like it. RADA, again, is another slow-moving stock. For me, this is more of like you're like a one-day hold. So again, RADA did do pretty well. It closed pretty high. So I would look to get in on RADA above 3. I would look to get in above 320 for a continuation. So I would simply play RADA for a continuation above 320. So Shannon Monroe, nice kind of find on that. That is a good find when it comes to RADA because it did hold that high price point. It does have the possibility for a continuation above 320. All right. SQNS and IMNP. So Philip, I had SQNS on watch today as well. SQNS, back to that. So SQNS, look at it. It's just consolidating sideways. Not a lot of pre-market action. We could see it continue to run today. If so, that would be very nice. All right. Like I said, above 360, first target 380, then next would be $4. So this is kind of where I'm at right now. DCIX squeeze target 3+. Let me take a look at DCIX real quick. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so DCIX had a reverse split is what just happened. It looks like a 1-to-7 reverse split. Most of the times when you see reverse splits, nothing very good comes of it. It's possible you could see the stock squeeze today. So if you guys would like, you can keep DCIX on watch. It had a 1-to-7 reverse split, and now it's just kind of dropping down. But most of the times after reverse splits, we see a huge sell-off. 9 a.m. news on CYTR. So shade 9 a.m. news CYTR. Let me take a look. We got there's a lot of green on, okay, great example here, guys. So remember on CYTR, I said a break above 61, and then our first target would be about 80 cents. Remember when I said that? I think that's what I said, if I'm correct. Yeah, so break above, oh no, I was wrong. Not 80 cents, 68 cents. Okay. So never mind on that. I was thinking about something different. So scratch that. Let's see. So CYTR, though, it said news 9 a.m. CYTRX Corporation announces receipt of NASDAQ listing determination. So let's see. Yeah, so it looks like CYTR is considering maybe delisting. I'm not going to go into reading it all, but it's something about they're talking to the NASDAQ about some type of delisting. So it's possible they might be getting delisted soon. So something to be careful of, okay? So personally, that's where I got to end it right now. Cut a little bit short. Not short, actually a little overtime. So we're going to end it about there. So again, thank you to everybody who tuned in today and was watching and whatnot. So that is all good. So again, thank you guys so much for joining in. Let me hop out of this screen here and get back to my good stuff here. Stop sharing. So again, thank you for joining in a ton. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. This is what I love to do. Of course, I mean, we could even think about starting it sooner. That way I can start, going over even more of the stocks that you guys are looking at trading rather than just the ones that I'm considering trading. So we'll just go from there, and always let me know what you guys think in the chat description. That way I can get an idea and not be kind of caught off guard. So thanks again for joining in. Just to recap, I was looking at, so for those of you that maybe gotten in late, I was looking at SQNS continuation, BSTG, a break above pre-market high, but BSTG, not too stoked about it. I might leave that one on the sideline for today. And then VER, VERI, for a continuation as well. Again, keep an eye on RTNB. That was a killer stock these past few days. We could definitely see some volume pick up. Other than that, I would just simply go based on my momentum scanner and see what kind of comes of if any of these fail. So that's really all I got for you. All the links are in the description box below for all the stock chat rooms and all the stuff that I'm a part of. So please go ahead and join into those if you haven't already, and get yourself within the community of all of us stock traders. It's a great environment to be a part of. And then lastly, Ricky Gutierrez has probably started his live stream right about now. So if you would like, you can go and channel over to his live stream. He goes over some pre-market stuff as well. And then he's more of a technical trader with a lot of support and resistances, a little bit different than what I do. So if that fits what your trading style is, you might like to watch him a little bit more than me. So channel over to him, and then he also goes into the trading day a little bit as well. So that's all I got for you guys. I will see you tomorrow, and then we'll be off for the weekend and then back Monday morning. So that's all we got. Thanks for joining in, and happy trading.